along with other maintenance services, and appointments are never necessary. All your automotive needs at the Auto Plaza on South Airport near Cass Road in Traverse City.
You are my sunshine, my only
sunshine. You make me happy.
When skies are gray. Back to you, Roger.
Never know, dear. Never know.
How much?
I love you.
No! Don't take that!
Hey, sunshine.
Invariably, after anyone wins anything, especially on a midterms night, the emailed statements fly back and forth, and most of them are not worth the price of the paper that you don't print them out on. However, there is one to read to you tonight from Massachusetts Senator John Kerry, who released the statement following Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid's victory in Nevada. The quote, "Politico was wrong, Huffington Post was wrong, hell, all the pundits were wrong. Harry Reid isn't just Dracula, he isn't just Lazarus, he's our leader, and our whole caucus is thrilled that he's unbreakable and unbeatable."
Yeah, Dracula. You always want to be compared to Dracula in politics. You know, John Ralston was right about this. The Nevada reporter, John Ralston, he was on my show last night. He said Harry Reid was going to win. He wrote a column saying Harry Reid was going to win. But he said Reid was going to win because of the none of the above column on the ballot, which you get to vote for.
Right.
He did not expect Harry Reid to get what he's headed for, which is 51% of the vote, a clean win. He expected Harry Reid to win only because of that.
His favorability.
Yeah.
Let's get. Let's
we got more votes than people like him.
Yeah.
Two quick facts in here. The Palin scoreboard quickly. 14, 12, and 3 of those endorsed by Sarah Palin, leading us to Howard Fineman at the Listing Post and the question of how does the former governor and her partner in crime, Jim DeMint, how do they feel tonight with these results, Howard?
Well, I'm sure they are going to try to claim credit for all the Republicans' success tonight. Let's not lose sight of the fact that the Republicans winning what looks to be 65 seats, you know, the Democrats losing 65 seats in the House is historic. But blackberrying back and forth now from over here in the Listing Post to those dreaded Republican insiders, they can't stand either Sarah Palin or Jim DeMint. And even though they wanted to win control of the Senate, they're sort of conflicted because they're happy to see Sarah Palin, by extension, lose two Mama Grizzlies here, both Christine O'Donnell in Delaware and Sharon Engel in Nevada. And, you know, I said, well, what about Sarah Palin? They told me, what about Jim DeMint? Because they're worried about DeMint because DeMint is the inside partner for Palin in the Senate.
Can I go back to John Kerry's statement for a moment? There's something important in it, which is a warning shot by Kerry to anyone who is thinking that maybe Harry Reid should be moved out of the majority
that's out
leadership.
The window. That's not
maybe a senator from New York who might be thinking that, or elsewhere.
I was told by
think about it.
All right, we have to close the hour. I just would advise that the spelling of Mama Grizzly is now G-R-I-S-L-Y and not the one with the 2 Z's. Assent? Agreed? No.
Meaning?
Grizzly?
Meaning?
I want to put it.
We're sending that to committee for further study.
Our coverage of the midterms, we still have the Washington Senate, Colorado Senate. We'll continue. I'll be here by myself for the last hour, apparently. Here we go. We'll be back.
I love my grandma. I love you, Grandma. Grandma just makes me happy.
To know.
Grandma is the bestest. The total package. That was cool. Way cool. Grandpa spoils me rotten.
To know you is to love.
Some people call us frickin' frack. We do finger painting. This is how Grandpa and I roll.
And I do.
Grandma's my best friend. My best friend ever. My best friend ever.
To know.
After this, we're gonna get ice cream. Can we go get some ice cream?
And I do, and I do, and I do.
this is not a lipstick.
It's Outlast Lip Stain from CoverGirl.
Light as air lipwear that does what a lipstick can't. With one sold every 15 seconds, it's the #1 selling lip stain in the U.S.
Outlast Lip Stain from Easy Breezy Beautiful CoverGirl.
What does it take to excel in today's business world? Our professors know because they've been there, and they work closely with business leaders to develop curriculum to meet the needs of top businesses, which means when our graduates walk in the room, they're not only prepared, they're prepared to lead. DeVry University's Keller Graduate School of Management. Learn how to grow the business of you at keller.edu.
Hi, may I help you?
Yes, we're looking to save on car insurance, even if that means we have to shop all day, right, honey?
Yep, all day.
Good thing you're starting here. We compare your Progressive Direct rate to other top companies, so you can save money. Look,
you saved a lot.
And quick, too.
And no more holding her purse.
It's a European shoulder bag.
It was a gift.
Shopping less and saving more. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
1 a.m. Eastern Time, thus the last of the poll closings. It's dark there in Alaska. Alaska has closed. It's fallen off the map, so to speak. Let's move on to what we know. We have no numbers from Alaska. Colorado is too close to call, with nearly 3/4 of the vote in, and Ken Buck having assumed the 36,000 vote margin over the incumbent, Senator Bennett. Washington too early to call. It is now at 54% and still a 2% Murray margin over Rossi. The pickup list for the Republicans in the Senate. Hardly a disastrous night for the Democrats. As you see, the majority leader, Mr. Reid, has been returned, along with 49 purely identified Democrats. I said 50 before, my mistake, counting essentially the independent Mr. Sanders of Vermont, who would get very angry with me for saying this, but he would be the 50th, if you will. And Mr. Lieberman is 51. There's still the 3 outstanding there to go. In the House, big night for the Republicans. There's no question about it. There was very little of a question going in. The projection with the margin of error, a total of 12, plus or minus 6, a 55-seat Republican majority. How much of that is going to be Tea Party? How much of that is pure Republican? How much of that is going to lead to infighting? We'll know later on. But that's what it looks like as hour 8 of our coverage continues here. A big swing, obviously, in the House. But the interesting thing about this is, I suppose, that the conservatives, Republicans, Tea Partiers, and others on the right wing will be tap dancing throughout the evening and throughout the week. Enjoy. Democrats who came into this with their apprehensions hanging out probably have less reason to be apprehensive than they did 8 hours ago. I think this is one of those rare things where much of what happened was expected to happen and did occur, and yet the side that was going to get its head handed to it really didn't get its head handed to it. It got, obviously, the loss of the House can't be understated, but what did not happen in many of those individual races, what tactics did not work, what ethnic targeting did not work, what happened in Nevada was extraordinary, and there were many highlights for the Democrats throughout the night.
And what will not work in a presidential campaign, which is a Tea Party candidate or a Tea Party-backed candidate like a Sarah Palin. That is a hopeless prospect for Republicans. They should know that by now after tonight. With the economic numbers being what they are in the exit polls, the economic attitudes of these voters tonight were much, much more negative than the economic attitudes of voters in 1994. The Democrats should have been hurt much worse than they were. It is within the realm of losing seats. This is a successful hanging on night for Democrats.
Well, except in the House. I mean, the loss in the House is quite
that loss
substantial.
Could have been much bigger.
No, it could have been much bigger. But I think it's going to take a few days to understand why the House, as opposed to these other races. Why not the Senate? Why not
the governorships?
The governorships. Deval Patrick was fine, and it turned out in Massachusetts people thought he might be in trouble if there were a big wave. So the wave, it didn't deform all terrain equally, you know?
Can I talk about the economic structure of the country? Where the Democrats have done well. Barbara Boxer has a very good relationship with the .com people. on the Silicon Valley. She's done a lot for them in legislation. They like her. They're hip to her. She's hip to them. Route 128 in Massachusetts, Deval Patrick with the more educated people up there, very educated population. Massachusetts is great. New York's great. The coasts are great. The left coast, the east coast are great. Where I see real trouble for the Democratic Party tonight is what I've been calling now for days from now, the Scranton to Oshkosh problem, all the way from Pennsylvania to Wisconsin. The industrial heartland, the Rust Belt, they love that phrase. Right across, senators and governors all lost. Friends of mine, guys in Congress, guys like Murphy and Carney and Kanjorski, they've all lost. This is a huge problem. If you use the guys that go to the NFL games with the big jobbers on, the vote for the Bears and root for everybody, root for Cleveland Browns, those regular guys from Scranton all the way across, they're turning back to the other party, to the Republican Party. They are Reagan Democrats, and they're angry about the fact of this. 65-year-old, 45-year-old, 55-year-old guys are losing their jobs. They're losing their jobs. They're losing their economic security and their pride. This is real with them. And they're not going to go out and get some other job tomorrow. They're not going to get retrained and all this loosey-goosey talk. That's the problem. And that's why I push infrastructure. That's why I'm pushing steel jobs and building things again. Because these guys have got to get one last break in life so they can work out their careers. And they're not getting to do it. And they are really upset. I don't think anger is the right word. They're just upset. They'd be happier working.
Chris, do you think any of them think that there is a single thing the American government can do to create a job in the American steel industry? That those steel mills are going to come back online?
I'll tell you, when I was growing, I know it's retro thinking. If you smile and laugh at me for being yesterday, I am yesterday. When I was growing up in Northeast Philadelphia, they were building trains and subways for now South Korea and Tokyo. We used to build trains. Boeing and Verto used to build airplanes. Bud plants used to build subways. All those jobs in the row houses where all the Irish and Polish guys lived in North Philadelphia, they all had jobs you could take the subway to. All the black guys that live in those neighborhoods today don't have jobs you can go to. They don't exist. There's no job 2 subway stops away anymore. Yeah. It doesn't exist. I was thinking the other day, what's the difference in my old neighborhood as it's changed to becoming African American? What's the difference? Jobs. Industrial guys' jobs you can get out of high school. They don't exist anymore.
But it's not just
it's a real problem.
You don't get to vote on whether or not you get to go in the time machine, though. You get to go vote in Pennsylvania.
Well, isn't that a time machine a function of policy? Isn't that a function of policy?
No.
Free trade policy?
But listen,
a lot
you
of it
picked Pat Toomey, and so those guys who voted for Pat Toomey
against the steel industry. He says that.
In 2012, are those guys who voted for Pat Toomey because they're upset with how the economy is right now, are they going to say, boy,
they're going to get free trade.
I got this guy who did 6 years in Congress, then went off to Wall Street and the Club for Growth, which is about getting corporate interests enforced in terms of
Republican voting out of desperation.
So they will have plighted their trough with Pat Toomey.
Right.
So it doesn't mean in 2012 they're going to be delighted with their
he's not going to do anything except cut taxes.
But
that's all he's going to do.
Cut taxes for corporations.
In this belt out to Oshkosh that you have described.
It's a reality.
But did we not see it roll outwards for the Democrats in 06 and 08 and pull back like the tide this time?
I think they managed to win, but a lot of those, bluntly spoken, a lot of those people in Western Pennsylvania did not vote for Barack, I don't think. It wasn't that good a victory. It was an okay victory. But I tell you, it's gone now. All his governorships, by the way, the Ohio governorship was really important to Barack Obama's reelection project. The whole plan was based on, we'll see how Florida goes. If they lose Florida now, if Alex Sink, who's a pretty good candidate, gets blown away by a bad candidate, Rick Scott, who is a bad candidate, who took the fifth 75 times, that's a problem. 75 times. Okay, I refuse to testify on the grounds that may tend to incriminate me. If you hear that, why don't they have that tape? I mean, I tell you, that's a problem for that guy. He could win.
You don't know if he's going to actually swear the oath of
well, you know, like in the mob movies, they always do it that way. But I mean, I don't know if it's on record. But I tell you, they need. Okay, do I have to make this case louder? I won't. I will get louder.
No.
The industrial center of the country must vote Democrat because they've lost the South. They got the coast. It's not enough.
When those people vote Republican, though, they are voting for a specific thing. They're not just voting anti-Democrat.
They might do it again
and whether or not these Republican candidates, now politicians, can reward those voters remains to be seen. And when you've got guys like,
by the way, the economy
not going to be with the steel industry.
I know. Okay, let me tell you, the unemployment rate's about 9.5% right now. If it's up that high again in 2 years, look out, because I don't think what else will change. If it's still up there, Obama loses.
And if it's
it isn't complicated.
Those guys are going to.
Does anybody at this table think Obama gets reelected at 9.5% employment?
I think Obama can beat any current possible Republican candidate. The Republican bench has no one. This is like 96. This is like 96. They had Bob Dole. That meant they were going to lose.
Okay,
it
but Lawrence, you know,
didn't have to know anything
that
else.
opportunity creates the great. They're not going to run a bum if it's 9.5%.
They don't have anybody.
What if it's John Thune?
He will lose.
I don't know. How about Huntsman?
These people are nothing.
No,
these people are nothing.
Huntsman will have been out of the country for several years, which might be a good thing to be running.
Every once in a while it happens. Look, in '88, the best the Democrats could do was Michael Dukakis. That meant they were going to lose. You could go to sleep.